Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but nothing's changing? You set goals, you make plans, you start strong. Maybe you've read the books, watched the videos, even followed the advice of people who seem to have it all figured out. But no matter what you do, you still feel stuck. Progress is slow, motivation fades. You find yourself circling the same struggles, month after month, year after year. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And here is the truth that most people don't want to hear. The reason you're still stuck isn't because you're lazy, or unmotivated, or not talented enough. The number one reason you're still stuck is this: you haven't changed your identity. Let that sink in for a moment. But deep down, you still see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, or someone who always quits, or someone who just isn't the healthy type. That identity, even if it's just beneath the surface, will quietly sabotage your efforts. You might be trying to change your habits, your routines, your results. But if the way you see yourself, your identity is still rooted in your old patterns, nothing will stick. You'll default back every time. Here's what that means. Let's say you want to get in shape. You start working out, eating better, maybe even tracking your calories. Eventually you miss a workout. Then two, you eat one cheat meal, then another. You stop tracking. You say, I'll start again Monday, then next week, then next month. And just like that, you're right back where you started. It wasn't the lack of a plan. It wasn't knowledge, it was identity. This pattern shows up everywhere. In business, in relationships, in personal growth. You try to act successful, but you still see yourself as someone who fails. You try to be confident, but deep down you feel unworthy. You try to be consistent, but you believe you're the kind of person who always burns out. Your actions might change for a while, but your identity always wins in the long run. Because humans are wired to stay consistent with who we believe we are. Your brain will resist anything that threatens that identity, even if it's good for you. So, if you want lasting change, you don't just need to change your habits. You need to become the kind of person who lives that change. But how do you do that? How do you break free from an old identity and build a new one? It starts with awareness. You can't change what you won't confront. Take a step back and ask yourself this: what story have I been telling myself about who I am? Maybe it sounds like I've always been bad with money. I just don't have some. I'm not cut out for leadership. I'm not a morning person. I never follow through on a small task, even if it's uncomfortable. These are not facts. These are beliefs. And beliefs can be, but only if you're willing to challenge them. Next, you need to choose a new identity and start living it immediately, even in small ways. If you want to become someone who's disciplined, don't wait for motivation. Start showing up like a disciplined person would. Right now, wake up and make your bed. Keep a promise to yourself. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. With every small action, you're casting a vote for your new identity. Over time, those votes add up. They build confidence. They build proof. And the more you act like the person you want to become, the more you become that person. This is not about faking it. It is about aligning your behavior with a version of you that already exists inside. The one that has been waiting for permission to lead. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need someone to save you. You need to decide. Decide that your past no longer defines you. Decide that your old story is over. Decide that from this moment on, you are becoming someone new. That decision won't be easy. You'll face resistance, doubt, fear. Your old identity will whisper in your ear trying to pull you back. But now you know the game. When that voice shows up, you don't have to listen. You can pause, breathe, and remind yourself that version of me is gone. You're no longer asking, what do I need to do? You're asking, who do I need to be? And that shift is everything. Because once your identity changes, everything else follows. Discipline becomes natural. Confidence becomes real. Consistency becomes part of who you are, not something you force. Think of it like this. If you identify as a runner, running every day isn't a struggle. It's what you do. If you identify as a writer, writing regularly isn't a chore. It's how you express who you are. Identity creates behavior. Behavior reinforces identity. It's a loop, and the power is in your hands to interrupt the old one and start a new one. So let me ask you, who do you want to become? Not what job do you want, not what income level, not what other people expect. Who do you want to be at your core? Strong, focused, peaceful, reliable, driven. Whatever the answer is, start living like that person today. You don't need a full transformation overnight. You just need one aligned step. Wake up tomorrow and do one thing that future version of you would do. Say no to one old habit. Say yes to one new challenge. Show up 5% better than yesterday. That's how change happens. Not through magic, not through hacks, through small, daily decisions to act in alignment with the person you are becoming. And here's the beautiful part. When you commit to that path, you start creating momentum. You stop spinning in circles and start climbing. Each action strengthens the foundation. Each choice becomes a brick in the new structure of your life. Before you know it, the stuck version of you feels like a distant memory. Not because you forced change, but because you became someone who lives differently. That's real freedom. And it starts today. So if you've been stuck, discouraged, or frustrated, Don't ask what's wrong with you. Ask what story you've been living, and ask if you're ready to write a new one. Because you're not broke. You're just living in an old script. But the pen is in your hand, and you get to decide what happens next. Now is the moment. Now is the time. Step into your next chapter, not later, not someday. Now, because the number one reason you've been stuck isn't permanent, and you are not powerless, you are one decision away from becoming the person you were always meant to be.